Welcome to one of our librarian and educator events here at AnimeNYC. Yes, we have a full day of content. Woo! Awesome. If you are here and you are an educator or a school librarian and you need CTLE credits, the Brooklyn Public Library will be providing those to you, and they'll give you some information at the end about how to get them. If you are a public librarian and you need a certificate of attendance for those 60 hours, through Manga Libraries, my organization, I will be giving those to you. So we will give you more information about that at the end. So hopefully you get as professionalized as you professionally can. All right, guys, next it's all you.
Oh boy, okay, no pressure. All right. Hi everyone, you guys hear me okay? Oh good? All right. Welcome to our panel. We're here from Brooklyn Public Library. We're just going to give you a lot of information. So yeah, welcome to Believe It! We did not steal that or get rights for that or procure any rights, so sorry. The power of anime and manga. So we're just here giving information on the manga and anime services that we provide at Brooklyn Public Library. Before we tell you who we are, move slides. Yeah, I'm not an actor.
This is the arrows.
All right, there we go. Like we said earlier, please stay behind for CTLE credit. We have forms and all that. We'll take like the last 10 minutes or so during like a Q&A session to take care of all the CTLE stuff, right? So just to let you know, we have 2 forms that you'll have to fill out. They're very basic forms, just name and some information. One you keep for yourself, one we need for our records in case we get audited where they ask, did these people really attend this session or were they just making it up? So make sure you do those forms for us. And just wanted to tell you a little bit about Brooklyn Public Library and get us started. So we're the 6th largest public library system in the country, serving over 2.5 million residents. There's 62 locations just at Brooklyn Public Library alone. 62 different branches and locations at Brooklyn Public Library. Just to make it clear, in New York City, there's 3 library systems. There's New York Public Library, Brooklyn Public Library, and Queens Library. 3 different systems, 3 different library cards. So kind of an anomaly when you compare it to other cities. We offer a variety of programs for all age groups. We have a whole bunch of other stats, but we're not going to waste time with stats. Let's get to the meat of the presentation. Jackson, I will.
All right. Hi. I'm going to introduce myself a little bit, but I want to tell you guys a little bit about our national program and initiative that started in 2022. We launched Books on Demand. If many of you guys are not librarians or school librarians, this is a national opportunity that we launched to help young adults across the United States to sign up for a digital card by Brooklyn Public Library to have access to our digital collection of books and training videos and all materials. And it's really awesome because that means when the teens are dealing with censorship and the problems with censorship, the way the country is moving. And of course, local teens that are in rural areas or have disabilities, they all get access to our material. And the way for teens to apply, all they have to do is send us a note to tell us how they're being affected by censorship in their schools or their public libraries of their town, and then we basically give them a card. They just have to be between 13 to 21 years old. We were the first ones to launch it, and we saw the need for it. And now we have basically signed up teens from all states, all from all over. We have thousands of stories from teens. We signed up over 5,000 people. And we continue the initiative to motivate more young adults and get the word out. So if you guys know a teen, or if you're from a challenged state, a teen needs access to material, it's a very easy process. Just look up Brooklyn Public Library, Books on Demand, you can learn more about it. We also did partnerships with different other library systems. So if you are older, a young adult, and you're over 21 years old, Seattle Public, for example, gives up to 26 years old. You can get a digital card. But yeah, that's Books on Demand. Please definitely check it out, guys, and spread the word for us because the more teens we sign up, especially with this current climate, the more we can help teens out.
And also, we have some lanyards and buttons to give out if you stay till the end. Yay. All right. Another fun thing that's going on right now, we have a movement exhibit, so check that out. That's live until the end of September. And fun fact, Japan really loves Moomin. They have like a Moomin amusement park. I think I saw more Moomin merch when I was out there than I did over here. I didn't even know what they were called. I thought they were hippos. But yes, we have this really beautiful exhibit at our central library, so come by and check it out. We don't have a Moomin library card right now, sorry. People do ask. We have a Liberty library card, so check that out as well. And now, let's actually tell you who we are. So, I think, is everybody sitting in order?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's me.
Hello, I'm Em Tone. I am a young adult librarian at Flatland Branch of the Brooklyn Coast Library. I would say my favorite, I'm more of a manga reader than an anime watcher, I'm gonna be real. But my favorite anime is Gintama, followed very closely by One Piece.
Alright, hi y'all, my name is Dana. I'm the young adult librarian at the Crown Heights Library. I use they or any pronouns. I didn't prepare my favorite anime. Off top, probably Naruto.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm the children's librarian at the Park Slope Branch in Brooklyn as well. My favorite anime is Delicious in Dungeon. I saw a lot of merch up there, so that's very exciting for anyone that's a fellow fan. I also love Power Captain Sakura, and then I also really like One Piece as well. I was telling my colleague that I saw 22 movies, but if you count my colleague, 23. So.
I'm closet cosplaying the movie today, I guess.
And I'm Yosef. I'm the manager of team programs at the Central Library. See, I'm already messing up. My favorite anime is, can you tell? Like, it's Sailor Moon, obviously, right? Woo! And I oversee a variety of our teen initiatives, like teen takeovers, anything related to gaming, getting out information about all things related to Comic-Con and AnimeNYC, and also our teen writing classes, which sometimes we get some anime and gaming adjacent. So, cool meeting you.
Hi, I'm the loud one. I'm Jackson. I am the Young Adult Internship Coordinator, so that's a fancy title for saying I work with a lot of teams, like my other colleagues here. I run 2 teen internships. One is in the pathway to teaching teens about librarianship, which is very important because we need more diversity. So getting their minds earlier the better. And another internship based on tech, but because I work with all these teams, I'm also an anime, manga geek. So we had a lot of fun together watching shows. It kept me sane during the pandemic. We were watching a lot of shows and coming together and talking about it. What's my favorite show? One Piece, but I've been watching One Piece for 20-something years. I used to do 56K download, and my computer was on all the time. And borrowing, of course, Dragon Ball Z videotapes, renting them out. I got tired of that, so I had to find solutions. But yeah, One Piece is everything for me, but I really watch everything. And I love working with teams because they always teach me about new shows to watch. So I have a pretty good, awesome job.
Okay, and now for the little formal stuff here. So our objectives today, we're going to learn all about like our different anime and manga adjacent programs at the library. We're going to share some of the digital resources that you can access with or without a library card. And just answer your questions. So you guys can actually guide this presentation. So if you have any questions along the way, feel free to raise your hand. You can interrupt, interject, it won't be a bother. We save all the questions to the end. We probably won't get to them all. So it's okay to occasionally talk. And we just want to have fun, right? We're here to have fun, enjoy this event. They get a little break from the normal daily grind, right?
Before you go, you see how I just slided in a potty book from there? Anybody's a One Piece fan?
And also, just if you left with any new knowledge today, did you know that the creator of Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter, Togashi-san, and the creator of Sailor Moon, Naoko Takeuchi, are married?
How many people do that? Raise your hands. All right, true fans.
Yeah. So, fun fact, if you leave with any knowledge today, even if you don't know about our systems and everything like that, at least you know that useless piece of trivia that'll save your life.
At the Brooklyn Public Library, we have a few ways to access manga. Of course, you can check out the physical items, but you can also use Libby, which is a third-party app that we give patrons access to, through which they can access ebooks and audiobooks. We also have Comics Plus, which is another platform that has graphic novels and manga. They're both accessible through the library. And if you are part of a different library system, you can check with them to see if they have one or both of these. Many library systems do also have Libby.
How many of you guys have used Libby, Comic Plus? Oh, you guys are like legit.
You could read Delicious in Dungeon there, so it's simple.
All right, and this is my slide too. So this one and the next one are about different specific genres or subgenres, if you will, in manga, which I'm sure most of us already know, but I just wanted to include it. These are all series. These are all series that we have at our system at the Goku Public Library. So for example, Magical Girl manga, it's a coming of age story. It has a young female protagonist. Usually the plot follows her as she battles evil, sometimes with teammates, and learns morality lessons. A fun thing is the transformation. So like for example, in Card Captor Sakura, there's a bunch of transformations, and that's really fun. And then our next one, another genre that's really popular in manga, of course, is action-adventure. This one especially is a great entry into manga and anime. So if you have a patron that's a young patron, a teenager, a child, an adult who's trying to get into it, this is a great way to get people into manga, and it's also a great way to do programming connected to items either in your collection or a way to get your students or patrons interested in programming. And these are really popular series, of course. It's the most well-known genre, and the central conflict depicts a lot of action, and there's often battles depicted on the page, both in text and in image. And it crosses genres with a bunch of others. So it crosses with fantasy, with science fiction, with comedy. To a certain extent, if you want, you can also include ones that you would consider more fantasy, like Delicious in Dungeon. Maybe you could include that as it having mostly fantasy, but also having the subgenre of action and the subgenre of cooking and cookbook. So you can look at it in a bunch of different ways. And again, this is a great one if you have an anime club, if you have a manga club, to use that to include a variety of series. And it's also a great way to do things like book clubs through this as well.
And much to the dismay of some people, we offer video game programs at the library. We have a series of programs called Teen Tech Time, where teens come to the library. They just come, hang out, play video games, and a lot of those games happen to be like anime or manga adjacent, or even just like Japan adjacent. So some popular titles that we have include Dragon Ball Fighters, Smash Brothers, and things like that. We don't lend out games at the library, unfortunately. We'd love to do that, but they would never come back. So instead, we do these programs. Every branch has like their own schedule or whatever, but some branches host it once a week or twice a week. So these are some of the like gaming adjacent ones. And we try to keep current. Like right now, we've been procuring some Switch 2s, believe it or not, for a few locations, and are piloting them at 3 locations right now, at Flatlands, Central, and Saratoga. So if you want to check out, the new Mario Kart, you can go to one of those branches and check it out.
My branch.
Yeah.
My branch all the way deep in Brooklyn.
Yeah. So and we try to keep current, like keep up with current trends and stuff like that. The main thing is that we ensure that we purchase games that are rated like T for teen or less. We try to avoid any games that are rated R. So sorry, no Mortal Kombat guys, but you gotta understand. And the thing is, like, when we select the games that we pick for these Teen Tech Time orders, we try to find games that are multiplayer, that are fast-paced, that people can just jump in and out of. Like, you don't want to get something that's like single player, drawn out, or whatever. You want to make sure that it's something that they can either play competitively, cooperatively for short spurts, so that more people can have a turn. In some locations, we might have more than one setup. Maybe we'll have 2 TVs. Go ahead, Liz.
Can you get closer to the mic, please? I can't hear you.
Thank you. Okay. See?
It's so much better.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Should I just start over from the beginning? I can't. We don't have time. But sorry about that. What was I saying? Video games. They're at the library. Come check them out. Invite your teams to check them out. But not literally check them out. Just come and play. Yeah. All right.
Okay, so a lot of organizations, including our organization, we get licensed to be able to show movies, and through the Brooklyn Public Library, we have it through Swank. So Swank is the vendor or the access point, if you will. When you go to their website, you have to click on what kind of organization you work at or that you're presenting at. So for example, if you're a school, it would be a different list of items, maybe different kinds of licenses versus a public library or versus another kind of organization or public event. So always double check that with your organization to see what you have access to be able to show. Anytime we show movies at the library, we make sure that it's on Swank. So for example, at my library, Park Slope, I do a monthly children's movie program, but it's also aimed for whoever wants to come to the program. And I always make sure we have it in the collection, and of course that we have it on Swank so we can show it. And then this is just a basic search on Swank that is just manga. So what do they have that's like manga or anime on there? And so if you see there's like a bit of a small, very small selection, but when you make it broader, there are more options available. So that's what's on the next slide. There are 4 different, these are just examples. So these are movies that are based on manga or animes, or they're inspired by it. So for example, Pokemon Detective Pikachu is based on a graphic novel that of course is like derives from Pokemon, whereas Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the art style in that movie, it has a variety of animation styles, including styles that are derived directly from manga styles. Alita Battle Angel is an adaptation of a manga, and then the last one, which I can't read from here, I'm sorry, is also an adaptation from a manga. The last one is R, and as Yosenex was saying, for programming, we try to make sure that it's certain ratings. I do children's programs specifically, so I always make sure it's a PG rating, but when folks do teen programs or adult programs, if it's PG-13, they can show it. I don't know if they show R movies or not, I just know I don't. Do you know something, or?
I mean, for adult programs.
For adult programs, yeah. So, for example, if you're doing an adult program, if you teach at a university, of course, you can show an R rating. But yeah, so there's like a variety there, which is really nice. And then one thing I like to do in those programs is have materials from our collection available to check out. So if a patron is, for example, I showed Sonic the Hedgehog 1 earlier this month. And I had a bunch of books that were adaptations of the Sonic game, or adaptations of the movies, or tie-ins. And I also have copies of the movie itself. And then you can also have links to Comics Plus, you can have links to different things. In that case of that movie, there's 2 other newer movies, so I have copies of the newer ones that we have. So stuff like that, so people can still check out items in your collection, and you can always kind of tie that into it.
I do want to add that in an earlier draft of this presentation, we were going to mention something like the Crunchyroll Educator access, but they just discontinued that service. So I'm not saying we should rally and like complain, but you know, we should see if they can bring that back at some point. But I'm not galvanizing anyone here right now, just saying.
Oh, okay. So, going back to video games for a second, so Pokemon is not necessarily a video game that you play in a Teen Tech Time. It's just really hard and difficult to organize like a tournament around like having people having multiple Switches. Not the best idea. However, it is a series, a franchise with a broad range of adaptations, and especially its anime being very, very well known, makes for a great anime program. And so every February 27th, that is Pokemon Day, I do a program at Flatlands called Pokemon Day, and essentially it's a day where we just all gather, it's all ages, not just teens, not just adults, not just kids, everybody loves Pokemon of all ages. We all come together and we just have some programming, some games, some arts and crafts. It's a great time to use your makerspace if you have one in your library. We have a 3D printer at Flatlands, so we have 3D printed different Pokemon. This year, because I was able to watch the Pokemon Day Presents, and they announced the starters for the new game that's coming out in October, ZA. I was like to our technology guy, hey, can you do a 3D print of Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile for us? And he was like, on it, and we had 3D prints of the new starters, like you see them right there, being printed out during the program. It was really cool. It's also a great way to introduce people to your collection. Because Pokemon is for all ages, there is a broad range of books for different age groups. There's board books now, there's cookbooks, there's obviously manga, Pokemon Adventure is my fave. There's just so many different Pokemon materials that you can bring out and show off your collection during the program. It was really fun. Another thing that we have is a button maker, and we used the button maker to make buttons and stickers to give out. And we also had some trading cards. We played a Jeopardy game, and I had trading cards as prizes for the kids who won. It was just a very, very simple program. You can run it basically every single year, and it's guaranteed to bring people out. And yeah, it was just really fun to do, and it's going to be a continual program at the Flatlands Library.
Pokemon is a registered trademark of Nintendo and Game Freak. We're not more Pokemon. No, but it's all fun stuff. All right, next.
All right, so we're gonna talk about Anime Club. Just by raising hands, how many of you run an anime club at your library or school? Awesome. And how many people don't, but are thinking about / interested / your teams have been bugging you about it? Okay, cool. So I run the anime club at my cool sentence. I run the anime club at my job, and we're just going to talk through some of the different possibilities. Of course, especially because we don't have the Crunchyroll librarian educators accounts access anymore. A lot of what we were doing was watching episodes, but this is stuff that you can do that's not just watching episodes. So, of course, there's the arts and crafts, and they're sort of listed here in order of complexity. They will surprise you by how much they enjoy drawing and coloring. We also do origami and paper craft. There's a lot of really easily accessible resources online. If you look up just like paper craft and then insert anime or manga of choice, they have fun cutting it out and gluing it together. The buttons, the keychains, the stickers are always a hit. Some other sort of more out-of-the-box ideas that we've done are they would decorate their own anime tracker journal. So they would each page could be like an anime that they watch, and they decorate the cover. We also have brought in guest instructors to do manga drawing workshops. So that was sort of like a 2-part series that we had. And the really cool one we did was a cosplay, prop, and costume making workshop. So we also got a outside instructor to come in and show the teens how to. They could basically think of any sort of like cosplay prop that they could think of from whatever, and the instructor sort of helped them through the design stages, so drawing it out on the butcher paper, which is what you see in that middle photo. That's the sort of butcher paper design that one of the teams had done. And then using foam, the actual materials that cosplayers will use to make their costumes and props. PVC pipes, foam, clay, air-dried clay foam, and stuff like that to make their props. So that was really cool. So the question of what if I'm not crafty there at the bottom, you can always bring in instructors, and also a lot of times the teams, if you just give them stuff, they will do the stuff. They will surprise you with how much they can do with just a paper and a pencil.
We also have a colleague that does sewing, so she does a lot of sewing programs for them. They get to design their own dresses and their own cosplay. It's really awesome because we never thought teens like to sew, and so they started making their own costumes.
So aside from arts and crafts, there's also plentiful discussions that you can have with your anime club. Some fun ones that we've done are the brackets and tier lists. So you pulled up like a bracket on the TV screen and just had them vote, and it actually got very heated. I don't know, does anyone want to guess which anime won best anime in our anime bracket? I hear Demon Slayer. It's not Demon Slayer. Solo leveling, not solo leveling. You're cheating.
Delicious in Dungeon.
I really just guessed.
Oh, okay. It was in fact Naruto, which tells you a little bit about the demographic of my anime club. No, and they're awesome, and I love them. Yes, so brackets, tier lists. We've done like anime would you rather's. There's a trivia and Jeopardy, I think, like had mentioned during Pokemon Day. One of our colleagues had made a Naruto-themed Jeopardy with all questions about Naruto. Some other fun ones that we haven't been able to try in my club, but we've talked about doing it in the future with the teams, is taking like different personality quizzes or making your own personality quizzes, like which Sailor Moon Scout are you? And then also presentation parties, especially as you get to know your teens and the teens get to know one another. You learn that they love to yap, and they would love to have a platform. So we have been, this idea of a presentation party basically where the teams are tasked to come back, like say come back next week or in 2 weeks with a PowerPoint about anything you want that's age appropriate. And they would just have, 5-10 minutes to present and be like, this this is the thing that I care about. And the other one that I have a picture of is this sort of like icebreaker anime bingo that the kids would get on the first, or like sort in the first day or in the first few weeks of Anime Club, and they would go around and try to find people, for example, who know how to say hello in Japanese, or who will like do an anime impression for you, and then they'll check it off and try to get a bingo first. Yeah, and there's a question of what if my attendees are shy, and that sort of was something that I was a little worried about when I first started my anime club, because it was a lot of at the library they're not just coming, or at the public library they're not just coming from the same school. A lot of them are like not already friends with each other, and so it's really I felt like it was sort of my role to help connect the teens together. So having those individual relationships already with the teens and sort of trying to facilitate conversations with them. It feels really awkward at first, but one of the things that I had to learn, especially once I started the anime club, and the only thing we were doing at first was watching the episodes. But then some of the teens were like, I could just do this at home. Like I could watch this on my computer at home. And so it was like, what is the library actually adding, or what is the club actually adding? And it's that ability to bring people together. I think kind of trying to facilitate that in as natural a way as possible. And you can also talk about Japanese culture. So some things that we've done in the past are Japanese food and snack taste tests. That one was really popular. Also, there are different festivals and customs that you could do programs and activities based on. So for example, the Cherry Blossom Festival that happens in the spring. In Brooklyn, the Botanical Gardens also has cherry blossoms on display, so it can even be a field trip. There's also lantern making, and also there are different festival games that are played in Japan, during the holidays, and so those could be fun things. And then there's also, and there's next to probably speak more on this as well. But there's also Japanese language lessons, and so one thing that my teens really enjoyed was learning how to write their name in Japanese. And so even if you don't know how to speak Japanese, it's actually, or read or write Japanese, it's actually fairly simple to at least learn the alphabet because it's phonetic, and figure out how to write your name, your team's names in Japanese. And then my colleague over here actually ran Japanese language classes at his library.
I'll share a little bit about that. 8 years ago, I remember telling my branch manager when I was a Y librarian, hey, I want to teach Japanese at the branch. And they looked at me like, what? No one's going to come to that. Well, we would have up to 20 teens each session. They would actually come by, and I would use anime and manga as platform to teach them Japanese. Now, I am certified. I lived in Japan for a while. I have CTLE Credits and stuff like that. I took my Sailor Moon passion to an extreme and studied Japanese, so I could play RPGs in Japanese and watch anime without subs. But it was fun. It was the point wasn't just to recreate school. When we do library programs, we try to make it more fun, more engaging. So I didn't want to do less grammar lessons. Instead, they would learn the word, learn how to write their names, learn some basic kanji, so that if they ever wanted to go and explore Japanese further one day, they already have that base level, exposure to the language. Because when you're learning a language like Japanese, it's like starting over. Any other language anything else, just doesn't help. It's its own, set of rules and everything like that. So I was happy to introduce it because the branch that I worked at was also the branch the neighborhood that I resided in, which is Brownsville. So that's not something that you associate with Brownsville, kids actually learning Japanese and stuff like that. So it was a great experience. We did it all the way until the pandemic, so it was fun. We did it for about 3 years, and kind of miss doing it. But now that I'm in this role, I'm happy to help others do similar programs.
And to give himself credit, those kids in that neighborhood don't have the means to have private lessons. So.
Yeah, and then the last thing that I have, thank you, yes. Oh, I'm sorry, could you go back one?
Oh,
I just had one more point. Last thing too, if any of the members of your club are interested in fashion, there's a lot of cool Japanese fashion that can be explored in your club. there are plenty of dress-up games that can be played online, sort of like even doing it together on the computer screen, being like, oh, what should we wear? Like you could be very creative with it. One time in our anime club, we watched a food tour of Japan. There are these vloggers who go around and try the different street food and stuff like that. Like that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't always have to be super planned out. Like it can really be just enjoying things together and talking about it. Next slide, please. Okay, and cool, but why? So if you have an anime club, or if you're trying to start one and you're having a hard time, sort of convincing your supervisor that it's a worthwhile use of your time and energy, there are a lot of really great benefits of, doing anime and manga programming at your library. For example, of course, it really builds community and fulfills a community need. I think we'll talk about this a little bit later, but there are so many young people who list anime and manga as one of their primary interests, and not every kid is lucky enough to go to a school that has an anime club or where they have people who they can talk about anime with. So it really does fulfill a need, and the numbers will show you that too. These are some of our most popular programs. There's also a way to encourage patrons to engage with your collection, like Anna was talking about. And it's also a really great entry point to introduce patrons, and especially the young people who, for teens, it's very hard to get them into the library. So it's a good entry point to introduce them to other topics. Some examples include using anime as a starting point to start to talk about mental health and connecting them to mental health resources. We also, at my library, we run healthy relationships programs for teens where we talk about the qualities of a healthy versus unhealthy relationship. And so something you could do, for example, even around Valentine's Day, is watch an episode or 2 episodes of a romance anime together and talk about, well, what was healthy about this and what was unhealthy about this. And a lot of times, it will get kids or it will get teens into the room to talk about things that are important to them but won't necessarily bring them out. So it can be a really great gateway to talk about further things. And then also, especially if you bring in instructors and presenters from outside, it can also introduce the teens to anime and manga related careers. Like when we brought in a professional illustrator to teach our manga drawing workshop, she was able to share a little bit about her career, and I could see the gears turning in my teens' heads of, oh, this thing that I like to do for fun, or this doodling that I do in class is something that I can actually make a life out of. So the question of where do I begin, how do I know what my attendees want to do, is just starting small, just putting the flyer out, talking to the teens who you already know who like anime. When I was first starting my club, and even now, if a teenager walks in with an anime t-shirt, I'll go, cool shirt, you want to come to anime club? And just every day asking what's something you'd be interested in doing? Or, hey, I was thinking about doing this, what do you think of that? So it's, I think I have a tendency to overthink things. I definitely overthought it when we first started, but it really is just that simple.
So where to begin, right? We want to go back to that question really quick. So where do we begin with making an anime club? Well, personally, I would just start with something that you like to do, right? So I kind of wrote this slide with the knowledge in the back of my head. Oh yeah, we still have Crunchyroll, right? We can still be showing anime on Crunchyroll, but then, however, how I would run anime club is I would put out a bunch of sketchbooks, some markers, and some pencils, and I'm like, okay, let's draw some anime together. Because I really like to draw and I like to share that knowledge with other people. So being able to sit down and just draw with everybody, I think that's a very communal experience. We share sketchbooks, everybody fills up the sketchbook together. It's a very we get together and we draw. So in order to run this program, this is very simple. What you'll need, of course, is snacks. Snacks are the strongest incentive to get your teens in the program, get your kids in the program, right?
You need a budget.
Yeah, you need a budget, but if you can get a budget for snacks, it is a lifesaver, it's a game changer. Get those snacks. Then you'll also need some pencils. and erasers and paper. Now you don't need sketchbooks. I got the sketchbooks because I thought it would be really fun to build a sketchbook together with everybody, you know, have everybody contribute a page or two to the sketchbook. I would pull out a sketchbook, I would draw something in it, right? But you can't just have copy paper. If you have copy paper or even scrap paper laying around, that's perfect. You can get some pens. Again, they don't need to be like, you know, artist grade pens. I like having the materials that mangaka use around to show the kids, like, hey, this is what a professional mangaka uses, right? That's great, but if you can't do that, that's perfectly fine. You can use ballpoint pens, you can use Sharpie, that's all perfect. And then going back to markers, like, I do have like Copic markers up there. They're great. I'm also a big fan of Crayola. They're my hometown heroes. Literally, Crayola was built into my hometown, so I will always stand Crayola. They are perfect. If you have Crayola, use them. So these are just ways you can start your anime program, and then you can like build on that by even incorporating other crafts like origami, etc., etc. This is just a starting point and a way to introduce different like styles of drawing to the teens and kids who might attend your program. And those are just some examples of some of the drawings the kids have drawn over the years. I really like these. I love that Kirby in particular. Like Kirby is my favorite. It looks like Jigglypuff too.
It's the Jigglypuff Kirby hybrid. I love it.
But yeah, they're so talented. The kids who come to the program, just so talented.
Kirby ate Jigglypuff. That's what his power is.
All right, yeah, yes, right, internships, right? So besides being blessed with the idea of having teens come to our programs, we also have teens that want to give community service credit by volunteering by Brooklyn Public Library. They don't realize all the fun they're gonna have with us, but basically they apply for our teen internships. We have 7 ongoing teen internships. These are paid teen internships. So we've been doing internships for almost 20 years. And we're very lucky that we're funded by various private companies, private donors, even the city. And when the teens join us in different parts of the internships, they still go and they give their service to their local branch. And what they do during those internships is help and shadow people like Dana and they get to learn what they're doing at the branch, what kind of program they're doing. A lot of times you look at a team and you're like, Kindred Soul, what series are you into? They tell you all about that. And then you get to pull them in, those ones that most of them love anime manga. You have to sell them this idea of like what they want to share and how they can help these different programs. They help us with like surveys. So our teams are basically our guinea pigs. Like we usually send out like surveys to them. We tell them what kind of snacks they like, what kind of programming they think they would want to attend related to anime manga, what series they think is popular. There's just way too many series. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm getting older. It's hard to keep up. So having teens tell me what's new. And talking about all these different programs, one of my favorite things to do is make teens have a debate club with each other about what's the best series and who's the winner during that day. And I'm a jerk because I usually go in one piece, but then I'm like, no, I have to be fair. So I let them debate what's the best. But teens apply to our internships as an application. We just launched our new application for 4 ongoing. Is it 4 that started over there?
Yeah, 4.
Our 4 of them just got launched. We're going to be running that internship applications until October. Any teen that lives in New York City, that lives in the borough of New York City, is able to apply for these internships. Despite the fact that we are located in Brooklyn, teens will have to give their service to Brooklyn Public Library. They can apply for these internships, paid internships. Yes, that's your question.
How long is it?
So that's a great question. One, our oldest internship that I run can run up to about 9 months. The ones that I just mentioned that we just launched, they run about 7 to 8 months. A lot of our teens, when we say that to them, they get scared. Then at the end, they end up doing like 10 months because they like us so much and they want to leave, you know? But we have the secret sauce that we've been doing and perfecting over the years and we're very lucky for the funding, like I mentioned again. Most of our internships pay teens about $1,000 after they do approximately over 100 hours for community service like a library. But we build tiers. So sometimes we're lucky enough that we might have a freshman, and that freshman does that one internship, they're shy. Then 3 years later, they're still working with us, and they're like our superstar and best recruiter. And then they graduate, they go away to college, but they'll always remember us and always visit us. So we also let our teens go from different internships, one another. They apply for one thing and another, and so forth. And most of our internships recruit our biggest ones recruit about 100 teens per year. Our second biggest recruits about 72. Our third recruits 50. So we recruit. We have on a given year about 200 plus teens.
Yeah, even up to 300.
Almost 300. Yeah, right.
And
summer.
we can talk about internships all day. We actually did a presentation at ALA, and we'll be doing one at NYLA on our internships specifically. So check that out. But we could spend an entire hour just talking about.
And I won't shut up.
But yeah, I'll that these are paid internships, and and that the applications just went live. So please get the information out to your teams. But again, we could spend forever.
And we'll be here to answer questions.
Yes, yeah.
And we'll share the secret sauce anytime.
Yeah. And some of our internships also have capstone projects, and many of those capstone projects have been in the form of some anime or manga adjacent stuff. Like one of my interns did a manga display, another one did a mini anime convention at my branch, which was really nice, and we actually hired a manga artist to come by and stuff. And it was good. So they'll build it for you. That's the best thing about having interns is that they help build and grow your program.
We give them the platform and they just do whatever they want to do. That's the best part about that. We don't limit them. We just discuss with them through process. Mentors like these lovely people on the left, motivate them and guide them through all those months, and let them fly.
And I'm going to embarrass a former intern real quick. Rayvon right there. He's a former intern, and now he's one of our full-time employees working alongside.
Raise your hands if you want.
Sorry. We're winding down here. Okay. Some recommended literature.
Can you go back to that?
Go back.
Yeah, sure. Take pictures.
So, Manga Libraries that defend collection of America. Google Doc, collection of libraries. Just take a picture of it, because I know a lot of you guys probably are dealing with challenges and so forth.
Yeah, so this is related literature that I found was easily available. The two books, it kind of depends on where you can access them, but the top one, from what I saw when I found it, it seems like it's free and accessible. There's even more available online. There's a lot of journal articles, a lot of academic articles from different viewpoints, from everything from art history to education and beyond. So it really just depends on what your personal interest is and what your professional interest is as well.
And what are they doing over there? Okay. So another thing that's important for our program is that we do track all of our program attendance. So we keep track of the stats of how many sessions we have and how many attendees we have for each session, because it's important. We have to unfortunately, we're still fighting the fight. We have to justify why we continue to have these programs, why we should continue to receive funding to host these programs. So this past fiscal year, almost 400 anime themed programs, which is up from almost 300 from the previous year, which is great. Attendance is always steady, it's in the thousands, which I'm always proud of, and I want to get that number even higher. Let's get to 500 next year, I hope. And our primary audience for these programs is teens, but we do have programs for all age groups. We've had anime screenings for adults, we had anime adjacent, crafting programs for kids. So a lot of us on this panel do work with teens directly, so that's where the bias comes in. We do have a children's librarian representing. We were bad to not have an adult librarian here, but they do their own thing, so it's okay. All right.
We even have had in the past where we tried at our main building doing a mini Comic-Con for the teens.
Yeah. Actually, we have an upcoming con called Include Con that's happening at our central library in November, and that's going to be a more sensory related con, low sensory, for people on the spectrum and various other issues and things like that. So if you'd like to attend that, that'll be, I think, the third Sunday of November or the second Sunday of November. I don't. The information will go out soon. You'll see. But and we've had other similar content. Yes.
What age does the teen start at your library?
Our young adults start at 12, general volunteering. If it was up to some parents, it would be like 8, but we gotta like milk, labor laws and all that. Our youngest teens are 12, but our internships, the youngest we set teens, is supposed to be 14. But once in a while we find like this unicorn of a very mature 13-year-old that looks like they're 19, mature emotionally wise. We give them a chance to start internship. That's the youngest. The oldest we go up to is like 19.
19, yeah.
19 years old.
Like for teen takeovers, for example, one of our internships, the range for that one is 16 to 19 because it's an after-hours event. So it kind of varies based on the program as well.
And we follow New York City labor laws.
Yeah, and in New York State, labor laws,
Labor
15-year-old
laws,
and a 16-year-old are completely different.
It's night and day difference. When school's in session.
Yeah, exactly. We have our contact info for myself and Jackson. If you'd like to hit us up, ask any questions, do not give us resumes. We do not look at resumes unless you're a teen applying for an internship. I'm sure you guys take a picture.
Sorry, I couldn't. You always have to put Anya on something cool, right? Like she's a go-to for everything. She's a go.
Our names are spelled right?
Yeah. Yes. And you guys can email us.
Yeah.
We get thousands of emails all the time. So any questions you have, we'll be very happy to share.
How many people is this year like first AnimeNYC? Just curious. Oh wow, quite a few. Okay. So awesome. I'm glad to see more educators and all that here at AnimeNYC. This is like my fifth.
I don't know. I've been here for 10 years.
Well, just some helpful hints. You know, when you're visiting some of these groups, tell people you're an educator. Like show them, like flaunt that pro pack. So you can be like, I'm a pro. You know, might get more free stuff that way. It depends on the group. You know, you never know. Try to attend other sessions, get those credits, and just remember, it's easy to get overwhelmed at a convention like this. You can't do everything. You can't clone yourself or travel through time unless someone's dressed as Sailor Pluto. Nobody. Okay. You know, you just can't do that stuff. Just try to like focus. If you accomplish one thing each day, cool. You know, if you're just here for the day, take it slow, pace yourself. You can always come to other events like Comic-Con, which also offers professional days. And you know, there's always AnimeNYC next year, we hope. So have fun, enjoy it. And now, you know, I know you guys are waiting for the CTLE stuff. So there's a few things you gotta do. We have these 2 forms, right? It's actually the same form twice. One you keep, the one that has my fake signature done on Adobe, you keep for yourself so you can submit that on your behalf. The one that has no signature is what you return to me so that we have it for our records. And there's also a QR code with a brief survey. Just do that, just so that we have an evaluation component. We just want to make sure we cover all the bases. So teachers, educators, if you'd like to get your CTL credit, just come up to the stage right now, get your forms. And this is also our Q&A period, so if you have any random questions or anything,
We'd love to
here.
talk to you.
Also, we have some Books and Band lanyards and buttons. Please take them. I do not want to bring these back with me today. I want to buy more toys and bring them back home. So please take as many as you like.
And we do have a microphone right there if you want to use it.
There's a microphone in the middle if you'd like to go up and ask
If you
any
don't want
questions.
to raise your voice.
So yeah, one here, one
One of each, yeah.
One of each. Fill out both of them. Give one that doesn't have a signature back to me. Okay.
Questions?
That has buttons.
Go ahead.
So my school is
Put it closer to you so we can.
my school is still pretty on the fence with manga. So I was wondering if there were any light novels that might be like more accommodating to get like a school help save your brain in school.
So I'm a children's librarian, and in our organization we have graphic novels in general, but also of course including manga in 3 sections. We have some in the children's section, we have some in the teen section, we have some in the adult section, and some of the ones in the children's section in publishing and in bookstores are sometimes put in the teen section or just in the general section. So for example, the Teen Dragon Society, that's a great series. It really has wonderful art, has a great message, it's very inclusive, and it is very cozy, and it also doesn't have a lot of mature content. So things that would typically be like put in the children's section, I think would be wonderful. Another option would be something that is a graphic novel that isn't necessarily manga with a ton of action. Maybe like a cozy graphic novel, maybe something that's like fantasy light, or again one that's like aimed for like children. So yeah.
Oh, that's it. Oh.
So how's the Brooklyn Public Library, how's the Brooklyn Public Library collaborating with outside conventions, around like the five boroughs, so such as like AnimeNYC, for instance? And if so, how has it contributed?
Which one? Such as which one?
AnimeNYC, it was another anime convention that took place in July.
Yeah, I can answer that. AnimeNYC began as a incubator project with Brooklyn Public Library, and that was held at the Brooklyn Heights branch 2 years ago. But now they've kind of become their own independent thing, so it's just their own thing. We still give a little support, but we like help launch them, and now they're just on their own. They're doing their own. They're become their own thing. Yeah, no problem.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, perfect. I'm sorry, this is a bit of a weird one. So AnimeNYC has only recently taken off in Wales, specifically from like the start of COVID. So we have a very, very young sort of demographic for anime and manga back in Wales. However, I'm also aware that the Brooklyn Library System, your libraries are triple the size of what we would consider our largest in Wales. But what would be like a really good starting point to bringing something like these sort of programs to very, very tiny, rural based libraries?
I think you can do a version of a lot of the programs my colleagues presented at any library. Before I worked at Brooklyn Public Library, I worked in a smaller organization in Florida that, for Florida, had a large library system with 21 branches, but it was still much smaller. And in my library, we have very young children that come. We have a very small population of teenagers. We actually just got a new teen librarian, so we're soon hopefully going to have teen programs.
Yeah, our biggest demographic is currently like children under the age of 10. So
Oh, yeah.
We've seen a lot of like primary school anime and manga.
That's my branch. That's my branch all the time. Actually, when I get children visiting from schools that are in 4th grade and primary school, they ask for manga and everything. And so, I mean, honestly, some of the programs that they were discussing, especially like Pokemon Day, Pokemon is something that the young children love, and even teenagers love too. So a version of what Ed was presenting, even some of the art programs or the writing programs that you were presenting, I think those would be great options. The movie programs I do, the kids really love it. And another thing I do, which is kind of in the vein of what they're presenting, a mixture of doing characters is, sometimes I do an arts and crafts program every week that we call Kids Create Our Organization, but it's just a weekly arts and crafts program. And one of the ones that I've done that's very popular is I make them the panels on a page. So like the long sheets of copy paper, I'll cut it in half and then I'll make the panels just like as straight lines. And sometimes I'll make like the lines a little horizontal for them for a little difference. And then they can create their own little scenes. And then they also have the option to create their own characters. So either a program where they create their own character in like that specific program, and then build it where they can rebuild their scenes. You can make a series of programs, or you can even just do it just stage down where you prep stuff for the kids.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much for amazing.
And if you have paper and pencil, you can run on your program.
It really depends on what our councils give us funding for our libraries. Is currently on the downtrend. They're actually looking at closing several branches in multiple villages because there's just no engagement. So I'm hoping to bring something like this to boost engagement and keep our libraries open across Wales because we really need them. So thank you guys so much.
Real quick, I forgot to say this, but enough people left, so it's okay. I have a little one sheet that has some of the information we shared today, so if you guys want to take that, if you need that to share back with you, that's cool. I'll leave that out here. Forgot to do that, but I only made 25 of these, so please. 24 now, 22. Let's go.
So, I work at an academic library, but we also have.
Do you mind stepping a little closer to the mic? Thank you.
So, I work at an academic library, but we also have dual enrollment students from the local high schools. This is Florida, by the way. And we should try Commons Plus for a while, but because of the dual enrollment students, we had gotten some concerns and complaints about the adult materials on that. So my question is, are you aware of any other databases like it that exist out there that are a little bit more?
And there's no way to filter it on Comics Plus by age.
They have options. So they had like a younger age group, but it felt like a lot
we have people that does a collection of books or book ops. What you can do is email us, and they're more knowledgeable because they also was a shop for the databases. We're just pretty enough to get the databases. So they would shop for that, and they have more knowledge of that. We can help. The whole point is information, right? You tell us in writing what you want, and we'll talk to them, and we'll get you an answer.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Sorry for the panel.
Yes, questions, whatsoever?
Hello.
If you guys are librarians and you guys are looking for the credit, they're signing outside.
You can answer. Oh, wait, one of our colleagues can answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go.
You want to grab the mic real quick?
Yeah, I mean, you can talk, you want to answer it? Here we go. See, that's why we got an expert here. Sorry.
Hey,
We have a lot of
I'm an adult
young people.
librarian from Florida. I work at Bees Young. So if you are in Florida at an academic school, come meet me. I actually did collection development in Florida. We can talk about that. So if you have any questions or concerns, if you're trying to find a different database that can be funded, I got you.
Thank you so much.
Ash to the rescue. Yes.
Hi there. I'm a student at LaGuardia Community College in Queens, and I was curious, you guys have teams, but do you guys have any college student programs?
That's a great question.
Anything. Could be not exactly the program or just like kind of.
Yeah. Sorry, is this about anime specifically or just in general?
For your organization.
Oh, okay. So, I'll say that this is like that young adults / new adults age is something that we're trying to focus a little bit more on because in the public libraries it is kind of like a gap where, there's stuff for adults, there's stuff for teens, but then like what about, college students? So, I think that there are, for example, any of the adult programs, they're welcome to college students. There's also a lot, there's resume help programs, there's some of the other stuff we've done is like plant exchange, that one has been popular with the younger adults, knitting and crocheting, stuff like that. We like, especially at my library, we have been thinking about the potential to do sort of like adult programming with anime, just because we see that there is an interest in it.
And honestly, with college students, the thing we always have, we used to do like a partnership with CUNY, and in CUNY we didn't have college paid programs for college students who work at the library. But eventually it was dissolved, that partnership, because you need money, right? College students need to get paid. I mean, the dream would be the day that my public library does get funding for something like that, would expand for young adults between the ages of 18 to 25 years old to do things at the library. So we're crossing our fingers. We hope that will be possible in the future, but we're not so sure yet. Because we, as you can imagine, we have 200 teenagers graduate with us. They go into college, but they go to college in the city. They're always like, so you got a job for me? And usually we do recommend them for part-time positions or full-time positions as they graduate, but it's still hard because we don't have anything really for as much for college students, like paid opportunities. It's more like service to the library. Paid opportunities is hard.
All right.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
But if you want to volunteer for us, I have my business card, and then I can share that.
And if you go to the website, the Brooklyn Public Library website, you can filter events by age. So you can filter it by adults, and then you can see all the programs throughout all of Brooklyn that are offered and targeted for adults. Sometimes they're offered during the day, and that's something that if you, for example, have classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or you only have classes Tuesday, Thursday, the days that you don't have class you can attend, or if you have like some time available, you can see what fits your schedule, and you can see also what branches have stuff available, either near your classes or near where you are, or just something that looks interesting. And we do have special events that you're always welcome to go to too.
Yes, I think we have time for one.
Oh, actually, that's time.
You can come up and talk to us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, come on.
The next session is about to start, so we're gonna like try to clear out. If you have your CTLE form, remember you keep one copy and you hand me the other one. So